Good morning, the students of class 6. Welcome to our social science e-learning class. And today in this class, we are going to discuss the new chapter. So it will from your PT2 syllabus. Okay. And the name of the chapter is Major Landforms of the Earth. So open your geography book, page number 39 and follow. So from the name of the chapter, you can easily understand that what are the major landforms found in the world. Today in this class we are going to discuss that thing. So you must have seen some of the landforms features shown in the figure number 6.1 in your book. So a beautiful colorful picture is present, and in this picture you can see the different landforms such as the mountains, plateaus, mountain range, basin, plains, all these things mentioned. So from that picture you have understood that the surface of the earth is not same, not flat everywhere. The surface has an infinite variety of landforms. Some parts of the landscape are rigid and some are flat. So some part are rugged and some part are flat. So these landforms are a result of two processes. So because of the two different processes, all these things created. Number one, it is the internal process. So what is internal process? That you will be amazed to know that inside our earth a continuous change occurred, and the surface where I am standing right now and you are lived, the houses, all these things, the cities, villages, towns, they situated, this surface is called lithosphere. This is actually the soil, it is situated over the upper cover, it is called lithosphere, and this lithosphere actually float on magma. Okay, in some layers that is full with magma, and you will read in detail about these layers in class 7. So this lithosphere also divided among some plates, and these are continuously moving very slowly. That's why we cannot understand. It's very slowly moving. So within the earth a continuous movement taking place. So this movement and the changes occurred in the surface of the earth because of this continuous movement is called internal process, and this process leads to the upliftment and shrinking of the earth's surface in several pieces. So students, those are the cross and right. What is this? I don't understand. Don't give this kind of emojis and all this. Cross and right and Abir, whose ID it is. And the students, those have this type of ID, I want to say that change your ID and put your name in your Skype as your Skype ID. Okay. So the process by which the surface of the earth, the internal process through which the surface of earth are shrinking some places and some places uplifted. So the second or the external process. Another process that occurred on the surface of the earth, it is called external process. So the external process also divided into two different process. It is the wearing away of the earth's surface by water, air or ice. It's called erosion. And the surface is being lowered by the process of erosion day by day and again rebuilt by the process of deposition. Some places eroded and some places the deposition occurred. So what is the deposition? Again the similar way, the glaciers, the water and the air, they deposited some soil or other materials, rocks in some other places and create another type of landform. This is called deposition. So these two processes are carried out by the running water, ice and wind, I have already mentioned, and broadly we can group different landforms created because of these two processes, internal and external process, are mountains, plateaus and plains. Now one by one I am discussing the three main features. So first one, a mountain. A mountain is any natural elevation of the earth surface. First one, mountain. So mountain is any natural elevation of the earth, and the mountains may have a small summit and a broad base, and it is considerably higher than the surrounding area. Some mountains are even higher than the clouds, okay, like Himalaya, Alps. So as you go higher, the climate becomes colder. So if you going higher and higher, the climates become colder, okay. And because of this, some mountains, the water turned into ice, and there are permanently frozen rivers of ice present. These are called glaciers. And the rivers with water, the rivers we can see with water running from the plains and plateaus, these are actually some of them created from the glaciers, such as our main river, it is the holy river, it is Ganga. It is Ganga also created from Gangotri glacier. Other main rivers of India such as the Indus or Sindhu and Brahmaputra also created from the glaciers from Tibet. Okay, now except the mountains, there are some small sized elevated portion. These are called hills, and a hill is a land surface that rises higher than the surrounding area, and generally a steep hill with an elevation of more than 600 meters is termed as a mountain, okay. So except mountains, there are some small elevated portions less than 600 meter termed as hill. So there are some mountains you cannot see because they are present under water, under the sea or oceans, because of the harsh climate, okay. And because of the harsh climate, very few people lived on the slopes of the mountains, on the mountain regions, because livelihood is very much difficult there, because the main thing, the main source of food, that is agriculture, you know. So agriculture and vegetation is the main source of food. So very few trees grown on the top of the mountains, as well as very less land was available on the mountains, because most of the places are the slopes are very steep. So in this steep slope, cultivation is not possible all the time. So that's why they took all the things from the plains, such as the people living on a Darjeeling, they took most of the things from the lower the plain region, such as the nearby town Siliguri. So now mountains may be arranged in a line known as range. Now what is range? Now the mountain is not always standing alone. Sometimes it's standing in a series, arranged in a line. It is known as mountain range. And many mountain systems consist of series of parallel ranges expanding from hundreds or thousands kilometers, such as Himalaya. It is started from the Kashmir and up to the Arunachal Pradesh. Other ranges such as Alps and Andes mountain ranges, there are some long mountain ranges of Europe and South America. So mountains vary on their heights and the shape. Mountains not only looks similar, different types of mountain present in the earth, and their heights and shape also different. And as per their creation and height and shape, they are divided into three types. Number one, fold mountain. Fold mountains. Number two, block mountain. And number three, volcanic mountains. Okay, so these are the three major types of mountains. So the Himalayan mountains and the Alps are young fold mountains with rugged relief and high conical peaks. And how did these mountains created? Because long ago, millions of years ago, you know that the earth is divided among some plates. So between these plates, actually at the time, in a low land present, in the place of Himalaya, there is a sea called Tethys Sea. And on the Tethys Sea, all the rivers flown from both the side of these plates, at both the sides of the land, they deposited alluvial. And layer after layer, this alluvial deposited there. And what happened? After due to huge pressure through millions of years, these two lands, they pushed each other and they come closer to each other, and the layers of the alluvial, they uplifted and folded and created fold mountain this way. Today also, if you can examine the rocks of the mountain, you can see this type of layers on the rocks of Himalayan. Okay, so in this way, when both the lands, they touched each other, then what happened? The layers, they uplifted and created this type of fold mountains. Okay, so this is the emergence of fold mountain. The Aravalli range in India is the one of the oldest fold mountains in the world, one of the old fold mountains, and the range had considerably worn down due to the process of erosion. Okay, and the Appalachian in North America and the Ural mountain range in Russia, they both are also the example of old fold mountains, and they are very old. So that's why these old fold mountains also called erosional mountains, because they eroded for many years, and they are this steep cone like the peaks are eroded and turned into this type of peaks. Okay, they eroded first. At first they are like this, but now due to erosion they are turned, their peaks are turned like this in Aravalli mountain range. Now we are going to discuss the emergence of second type of mountain. This is the block mountain. So how did block mountain created? So in the similar way, when different type of soil present, different type of rocks present in a surface of earth, in layer by layer, and what happened due to some internal reason, if these layers, some fault created among these, okay, some fault created, and what happened following these faults, due to huge pressure and the internal and external process, some part are displaced, some parts are broken and displaced. Okay, so this, when they displaced and they are uplifted, some part uplifted and some part are lowered. So the lowered blocks are called graben and the uplifted part are called horst, and in this way the block mountain created. Okay, so these are the block mountains, and the lower part, it is called Rift Valley or graben. Okay, so this part is graben, and these are horst. Okay, so the Rhine Valley of the Vosges mountain range in Germany, in Europe, is an example of such mountain system. The Rhine Valley, okay, so Rhine Valley means the Rhine river flown between the two mountain range. One is Black Forest and another is Vosges. Okay, so these are Black Forest and Vosges are the two block mountain, and Rhine Valley, between them lower valley and river Rhine flown between these two mountain ranges, and this is an example in Europe. It is a example of block mountain. In India also, between Narmada and Tapti, there is another mountain, Satpura mountain range is there, and Narmada and Tapti are the graben region, and the horst region is Satpura mountain range. So these are the examples of block mountain range. So you can locate them in the world map or the map of India, and find out more examples of this type of landforms in different part of the world. Okay. So in a physical map you can find out these features. Students, I hope you have understood. If you have any question, you can ask me. Okay, so next day I am going to discuss the volcanic mountains. How many types of volcanic mountain exist in the world, and what is volcanic mountain? How did they create it? So I think you have understood how the fold mountain created and how the block mountain created. Okay, and there are examples also. Example of block mountain, Rhine Valley, and the Vosges and Black Forest mountain, and the example of fold mountain, Himalaya, Alps, Appalachian, etc. And these Ural, etc. So thank you students, thank you for watching. See you in the next class.